Alistair, what can you tell us about why Tony Fadell left?
Nest has been struggling the last, I would say, year and a half under Google's wing. They had some slow product launches and a lot of other new products that have not emerged yet. And then there was quite a lot of argument among some of the rank and file at Nest, some of the engineers, because Tony Fadell has quite a strident and divisive management style. So put all that together, and Tony's leaving.
Interesting, so a bit of a culture clash. We actually spoke to Tony Fadell 2 years ago at the World Economic Forum in Davos about why he sold his company to Google. Take a listen.
We've been producing new products, but we've been wanting to roll them out to multiple countries. We're in 96 countries where we don't even sell today because we can see these devices being connected, but we can't get there fast enough. So for us, going with Google, we could get financing. There was not a problem. But going with Google, we can get financing, but we can get access to resources to allow us to move these products around the world much more quickly. Because as a small startup, you just have to build all of this.
Alistair, you mentioned the cultural issues. Tony Fadell previously was part of the team at Apple that developed the iPhone, sort of seen as a Steve Jobs type, hard driving type. Talk a little bit more about some of the issues inside Nest associated with his leadership. What do we know?
There's one particular episode where Nest, soon after Google bought them, they turned around and bought a startup called DropCam that makes an internet-connected security camera. And the DropCam team came over to Nest, and they were basically working on an update of that camera, and it took a lot longer than expected. And there was massive disagreement between Tony and the founder of DropCam, a guy called Greg Duffy. And a lot of the DropCam team were being pushed by Tony to work very, very long hours and over the weekend, and then there was a lot of friction on that front, because I think that there was certainly a culture clash between that startup and the way Tony ran Nest. So that was probably the main nexus of where all this divisiveness started.
Alistair, do we know anything about what's sort of in the pipeline at Nest? Is there anything here that's going to get derailed on any kind of a timeline? Is this going to throw a wrench into things?
Tony had an interview with one of my colleagues, Ashley Vance, about his departure. And one of the things he did say was that Nest has a lot of new products and services in the pipeline already. And one that has been reported is a home-based device that is similar to Amazon's Echo and actually Google's own home device that will sit and maybe be a sort of Wi-Fi router and an information provider and a hub for other gadgets in the home. So we can probably expect that to come out at some point. And then also Tony and Nest were very involved in creating a standard called Weave, which is like a software standard and a communication standard that a lot of gadgets will use.
Yeah, you mentioned the Amazon Echo, this connected device homes. That seems to be the only gadget people are really talking about right now. How much anxiety is that creating at, say, Google and Apple that Amazon seems to be the real early leader in this area?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that Google bought Nest in 2014 because the thermostat that Tony designed actually made great inroads into people's homes. They did sell a lot of them, and they needed a lot of support from Google, but it was an early sort of anchor point in the home, and that does act as a hub. But it wasn't sort of a search information device, which is what Google's interested in. So Echo certainly caused a lot of anxiety at Google.